Welcome to Retire Well TV. My name is Cynthia Difazio, joined today by Sean Odrabanak and Peter Samenuk of Citizen Advisory Group. And to our viewers at home, how do you address quality of life? If someone asks you that question, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Well, on today's show, we're going to talk about a study that was recently done by HSBC, talking about how people view that question and how it relates to financial planning. So thank you for being with us today. Pete, how are you today?
Doing great. Me and Sean, the same recipe again, the 1-2 punch.
Yeah, right.
Kevin doesn't need to be here.
No.
Sean, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Good to see you again.
It's so good to see you again. Thank you for having me as your host temporarily while Kristen is out. And I just am so thankful to be here with both of you. So today's show, I love this specifically when we're talking about planning for retirement, because it's not just about the finances, but it's about the emotion. And how do those two things marry each other so that you have quality of life? And this study, this is amazing to me. This was actually done in 2024. This was the Global Quality of Life Report, which revealed some powerful insights about what it means to be I've lived well, that statement. So this is interesting. The most important thing I can think of is financial security has overtaken family, health, and career as the top factor in how people define quality of life. That's pretty incredible when you think about it. For the first time ever, conducted in March 2024. So why is financial security now considered the top factor in quality of life? Sean, what are your thoughts on that? Why is that now the most important?
Yeah, it's a fascinating study, and what I like about it is that it's a recent study. And this particular age group, it was from 25 to 69, and it was through 11 global markets. And all the participants, there's about 11,000 participants, ranging from $100,000 of investable assets to $2 million, right? So these are your everyday people who worked and they put their head down, they put some money away, and now fast forward 30 years later, and we got some type of nest egg. Well, now how do we translate that to retirement? How do we translate that to a financial piece, right? And what I find fascinating about this study is that there is a large association to understanding your income plan, understanding what it's supposed to do, your retirement plan, to your quality of life.
Yeah.
And most people, I think, they think about, I just need more. I need more money. I need more assets. I need more income. I need more. And what this study really contradicts is it's not about more. It's about knowing.
Yeah.
So the question is, do you know?
Yeah.
Do you know?
Do you know?
Yeah, that's the most important thing. Pete, let me ask you, money influences every aspect of life. So talk a little bit about that. Your housing, your healthcare, freedom of choice. Why do you think that that is so important right now? And it ties into this study so well.
Yeah, and again, we thought this was an interesting topic to bring up. As financial advisors, obviously it's interesting to us, but I want to make clear for us at our firm and what our philosophy is. Our philosophy is not to have more money. We don't want you to have more money just to have more money. And I think that what it's not about worshiping the dollar and just being greedy and having more money. No, it's about quality of life. And that's at our firm when we talk about, the name of our show is Retire Well, and having good social connections and having your finances straight and having your health and your wellness taken care of. It's all about those things. So everything that we do in our planning hopefully leads back to better quality of life. And that's why I think that, Sean, at our firm, we found this so fascinating, this study, is because that's really what we preach, is quality of life. So money is unfortunately tied to a lot of those things. It's tied to our health. How much income and money and insurance we have can be tied to, the quality of our health care. It's tied to how much we're enjoying time with our family and vacations and, maybe not going back to work and all of those things. So again, unfortunately, in today's marketplace and world, a lot of things are tied to our financial health. And like Sean said, I think that was a great point. It's not about having more money just to have more money. It's about knowing and what that does to us to generate that quality of life that we're looking for.
Most definitely.
And I think knowing is, knowing the source of the money.
Yes.
And a lot of people that come into the office that are prospective clients, they come in, they show us their statements, and it's like, okay, you got 4 or 5 or 6 different accounts. What does that account do? What's the goal of that account? And most of the time it's like, I don't know. My financial advisor said that I took this test and this is how I should be. And so and this is what it is. Well, this study is actually saying that you need to understand what your portfolio, what is that specific objective of that account, right?
Yeah.
Is that my income account? If it is, I know what to expect from that. And when you know, that's where you find the peace.
Absolutely.
You find the peace on the back end. And to Pete's point, to my point earlier, a lot of my job is to educate you on your plan. And there's different ways to approach that, because what you're going to find on the back end of that plan is the quality of life, is the peace that you're looking for in retirement.
Absolutely.
And going back to, that's interesting you say that. Wouldn't you say that what you said your job is, what we look at our job as financial advisors, we take this very seriously. Our job is not to, again, have you die wealthy and so you can get buried in a golden tomb like King Tut or something like that.
With
I don't know, that's what I'm thinking, right? And treasures, and you're surrounded by
stuff,
jewels and things like that. Our job is to make sure that your quality of life for yourself and your family is better. You know, it's all about specific to you and your goals. What are you trying to do? Trying to enjoy life, trying to have quality of life. And that's where, you know, money is just a tool to do that. Money is the tool that needs to be used.
And I love people come into the office, obviously, and they say that you ask questions that other advisors had never asked before, because you truly care about each client that comes in. So understanding that process with now what we've learned with the study, how does this affect overall retirement planning? Pete, are you finding that people are starting their planning process a little earlier because you're asking some questions that people had never heard before?
Yeah, I mean, I think that differs for everybody. I do think that, and I don't know if it's because we're in the information era, where, you know, even younger clients, people that are 30 and younger, 25 and younger, and we're just inundated with information on social media and the news and things like that. So I just think those types of things do get people thinking more. You know, they're seeing more people talk, their age group and demographics talk about retirement planning and financial planning and debt management. But yeah, I think that just people are thinking about it a little bit earlier. You know, we run into a lot of clients, you know, I think it was typical back in the day, you just worked, you had your pension plan, you had your Social Security, you retired, you were taken care of. But now, yeah, people kind of need to start taking care of themselves in the world and the landscape that we live in. So I do find that we are running into more people around their 50s, middle 50s, where you've got that voice in the back of your head just saying, look, you got to know what this looks like. And that's what this study is really all about, knowing.
Sean, how does someone get started? What is the first step towards financial security?
Well, the first step is you have to act. You're going to learn some things today. You're going to learn a little bit about our firm, our process, how we approach the plan. But the first thing that really needs to happen is you pick the phone up or you scan the QR code, because what you need to know is, what is my financial plan? Do I understand it? Am I confident in my plan? Because when you're confident, you're going to find that quality of life that we're all looking for.
Absolutely. Like you said, knowledge is power, knowledge is peace.
Amen.
Sean, thank you so much. Pete, thank you so much. To our viewers at home, the number to call is 866-630-1675, 866-630-1675. You should have peace of mind in your retirement years. And how do you get that? Knowledge. Knowledge is power. Take advantage of this opportunity today. 866-630-1675. If you have your smartphone handy, you can grab it, click on the QR code at the bottom corner of your screen. Takes you right to the landing page of Citizen Advisory Group, and you can schedule your time accordingly. Remember, you've worked your entire life to get to the retirement years, and you deserve to have peace of mind. You just have to do one thing today. Take action. Call in 866-630-1675. We'll be right back momentarily on Retire Well TV. Stay with us.
My name is Sean Odrobanek, and I'm one of the financial advisors at Citizen Advisory Group. I became a financial advisor after I met Jeff almost 5 years ago now. It was something that I've kind of been passionate about. I've always been really good with numbers. I didn't really know how to make a career out of being really good at numbers, right? So when Jeff and I met, we started talking just about what Citizen Advisory Group offers to the clients and how he saw that I could actually provide some value to his firm. And from there, you know, here we are. I think the first thing is that you got to wake up and you got to love what you do. where I find my joy and my happiness is with the people that I love, right? Obviously, my wife, my kids, but it extends beyond that, and that's my home family. That's the home team, but we got a pretty good family atmosphere at the office as well. So, you know, getting around the people that care about the things that I care about really is what makes, you know, our firm unique. So I would say people that I love, things that I love to do, and serving just kind of inspire me each and every day.
Welcome back to Retire Well TV. My name is Cynthia Difazio, joined today by Sean Odrabanak and Peter Samenuk of Citizen Advisory Group. And we're talking all about quality of life in your retirement. So thank you for being with us today. Sean, I want to ask you an important question, because obviously people are calling in right now. They're clicking that QR code. They want to have the complimentary retirement plan done for them. But what does that feel like? What are the steps that you take? What can they expect when they're first coming into the office?
Yeah, I would say it's probably a little uncomfortable. You're probably sitting on the couch right now or wherever you're watching this, and you might be like, I feel like I should call, but I don't know, because maybe I've been with my advisor for a very long time, and you feel like it's almost a disservice to them. And what I would say is, you know, that's a very real emotion, but put it on the back burner for just 1 second, because this is what you're going to expect. It's a completely complimentary, no obligation. What you're going to find is that you're going to come into our office, and what you're going to see is our process. We're going to talk about your investments, but we're also going to talk about your income as well as your tax planning, and then a defensive strategy through risk mitigation, right? Long-term care, life insurance, home and auto, and then ultimately the legacy and the estate. You know, that's essentially what you're agreeing to for 90 to 120 minutes by coming and seeing, you know, how can we provide value? Because most of the time, in my experience, clients are heavy in one position of the 5 areas of financial planning, the investments.
Okay.
Take this test, predicated on this test and your age, you should be in this portfolio allocation. And there's just more to that. There's more to you, there's more to your plan. And our written income plan, our written plan is going to address every one of these areas. But we can't help you until you help yourself.
Yeah, most definitely. There was also the study that said that people that have the written plan report higher satisfaction, much higher satisfaction. Pete, do you find that to be true?
I think that's absolutely true. And I think when we have people and we're providing that written income plan, which again, that's work we're going to put in, we're going to do that complimentary for you. That's a piece that we are going to do. But that's really the first domino to fall in financial planning. And really what that does for people is just knows that no matter how long I'm around, no matter how long my spouse is around, both of us, one of us, some combination of that, we know that we're going to have enough money to take care of the things that we need, you know, our housing, our taxes, our insurance, our food, our clothing. And that's going to allow us to have enough money for the things that we want to do. Our quality of life stuff, spending time with our kids, going on vacation, golfing, grandkids, traveling, right? All of those different types of things. So I do find that once people know where their income's coming from and that their bills and their things are going to be taken care of for the rest of their lives, sometimes guaranteed, I won't say it's always guaranteed, that really is what correlates to quality of life, is knowing what this exactly looks like.
Sure.
When you're saying that, you know, a particular couple came to mind, right? So a recent couple came in about a year ago, and you know, they felt broke. And when I read this study, they had about a $2 million portfolio. And what he was saying versus what I'm looking at on paper, they were misaligned.
Right.
And I said, Scott, why do you feel broke?
Yeah.
And they're trying to fit their lifestyle into this investment management.
Right.
Put your money away here, put your money away here, don't spend this, don't spend that. That's not a way to live. You worked your entire life for this, but what he was experiencing was he had one area of financial planning, the investment management. And while it makes you feel good that the money keeps going up and up and up, we got to have a little bit of a mindset shift, because you're going to do 3 things with money. You're going to spend it, you're going to save it, or you're going to give it away. One of those 3 things you're going to do. And I know at our firm, We want to empower you to spend your money. Because what's the point of saving it if you're not going to spend it?
And I'm glad you're bringing this up, Sean, because another part of this study, this is so interesting to me, is that higher income doesn't necessarily mean higher quality of life. So talk a little bit about that. People that are earning over $100,000 a year having a poor quality of life, what's going on there? How can financial planning help to bridge that gap? Quality of life.
Either one of us. Who?
I mean, go ahead.
Please.
Yeah, the part I was going to
either
say,
one.
I did want to expand on what Sean said about how he's run into clients that have a lot of money, and I mean, by our standards, because it's easy for us to look at numbers on a page and we're like, what are these people worried about?
Right.
But it's because they've never been taught how to use that or how that actually translates into like their goals and their quality of life. So what we find a lot of times is, I think everyone thinks the problem with retirement and financial planning is overspending. But I'll tell you, there's an equally as big of problem, and it's going to sound silly, and it's underspending. Is that we find when people are afraid, and they're afraid of the stock market, and they've never been taught how to use the money, that actually leads people to underspending. And before they know it, they're 75 and they're 80 and they're sitting here on $2 million. Why? Because we would say they've underspent. They haven't really lived their life to the fullest because they've been afraid to spend the money. Why? Because a lot of people in financial services too, that's what they're all about. Grow this money. And I think, Sean, you didn't necessarily say this, but what's going to happen when you don't spend the money and you die with it? Who's going to enjoy that money?
Your kids are going to spend it.
Your kids are going to have a good time.
There's no doubt about it.
Right. And I love that you gentlemen will pick up the phone and say, excuse me, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, it's time for you to take that vacation.
It really is,
Truly.
I have people, I had some people that I was like, look, they don't have kids. And I said, they just came on as clients recently, and it puts a smile on our faces. But I'm like, look, what are you going to do with this money? So they're redoing their kitchen. He's having his barn winterized, for his cars and stuff like that. So yeah, we're getting after it.
I hope two specific clients are watching, Jim and Jane, because this has been the mantra for the past year and a half. I'm like, Jane, you got to go spend it.
Wow.
You have to go spend it and we call them a ski trip, right? And I don't mean like we're going to go to the Alps or Colorado. A ski trip is you're going to spend your kids' inheritance.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you don't spend it, they're gonna. I've seen it. It's gonna happen.
Great acronym.
So you got to go on those ski trips.
Oh,
And your kids will get something, right? There will be something left for your kids, almost assuredly.
Of course. Well, Sean, I want to ask you a quick question as well. How do you convert income into lasting well-being before we take our next commercial break? That's a big question a lot of people have.
I would say, going back to you're going to spend it, save it, or give it away, one of the first questions that I ask is, what is the most important thing about this money? Because you really have to align your personal goals, your personal objectives, your personal values to your money.
Yes.
And I don't know what that is, right? It's going to be different for everybody. Typically, when I ask that question, it's, well, I want to make sure it lasts. Okay, you have enough money, it's going to last. I can almost assure you, predicated on your spending. So let's get beyond that. What do you want to go? What do you want to do? What do you want to accomplish? Because if you don't, going back to the ski trip, you don't want the car, you don't want the country club, you don't want the boat, guess what? Your kids are going to have the country club, the boat, and all the things.
Yes.
Right? So
You're
align your personal values to your spending. If you're a philanthropist and you want to give beyond your means, because it's going to give you so much more meaning. You're going to be able to live the legacy while you're here, as opposed to just leaving it. Now, that's a different show. We'll talk about that another time, but we really want to empower you after we do the financial side first. We got to do the money side first very well. And you'll feel that. You'll feel that after the first year or the second year. It's like, I get it, and I feel it. And once you feel that, then you're going to thrive. You're going to feel that quality of life, and you're going to find the peace. The peace is through the process, and we know the process. We've retired over 1,000 people by now. We know what we're looking for, and we know how to address these unknowns.
Well, like you said before, Sean, knowledge is peace.
Knowledge is peace.
Thank you so much. To our viewers at home, there's a number for you to call on your screen. That number is 866-630-1675. Again, 866-630-1675. What you're calling in for today is the complimentary consultation with Citizen Advisory Group. Let them get to know you one-on-one, your goals, your dreams, and your hopes for retirement. As you can see from the study that we're talking about today, the quality of your retirement life isn't necessarily tied to a number, but more, what are you going to do with it? How are you going to spend your years? The gentlemen here today are offering you this complimentary consultation. Just have to take action by either calling in to 866-630-1675, or simpler still, click on the QR code at the bottom corner of your screen. It takes you right to the landing page of Citizen Advisory Group. You can schedule your time accordingly. We have to take a very short commercial break, but while we're gone, grab that smartphone, click the QR code. We'll be right back momentarily.
So I started in the financial services industry 15 years ago, and I'd love to give you some awesome story about how I just woke up when I was 6 years old and said, I'm going to be a financial advisor. But the truth is that I kind of fell into it. I think so many of us, like after I graduated college, I was 22, 23, and trying to figure out what all of this looks like. But it took me probably 2 to 3 months to realize that this is the career for me. I love financial planning. I love helping individuals. I love meeting different people and families and their circumstances. I really want to get to know you as an individual. And I just think that's way more important than kind of diving into how much money you have, is what you're trying to do. I have been in financial services and financial planning for 15 years. I've actually been with Citizen Advisory Group for all of those 15 years. So a lot of my clients that I work specifically with, I've known for 15 plus years. And it's just super enjoyable and very gratifying to be able to know people, know their families, know their pets by their first name, know their kids by their first name, watch them retire, and just really have them focus on the things that are important to us for them, which is getting the most out of retirement in life.
Welcome back to Retire Well TV. My name is Cynthia Difazio, joined today by Sean Odrabanak and Peter Samenuk of Citizen Advisory Group. And we're talking all about quality of life in your retirement years. How do you get there? How do you have peace of mind? So Pete, I want to ask you, breaking down, there's 3 different types of planners. Let's talk a little bit about each one, because obviously people are going to fall into one of these categories. First one is basic planners. What are basic planners?
Yeah, I think you're talking about like just financial planners and advisors in general. Yeah, a basic planner would be someone that you just go in and it's really not goal oriented at all. It's not really predicated on anything you're trying to do or specific to you. It's really a product pusher, right? They might just sell you a product, or they already kind of know what is going to be in your portfolio before they've even met you, or what they're going to try to push onto you before they've even met you, right? So there's no formal plan at all in that type of situation.
Okay, all right, very, very good. So I'm going to just flip this over to you, Sean, really quickly, put you in the hot seat for just a moment. Why do so many people still avoid financial planning? What is the hesitation there?
I would say, they kind of feel overwhelmed, right? There's a little, maybe there's some privacy that they've had this their entire life. Maybe they don't feel comfortable. I think the most comprehensive, detailed plans that we have is where we've established that trust. And trust takes a little bit of time, right? That's where we really take time and we slow down to understand, what do you want this money to do, right? So now I understand what I want it to do. So then I can coordinate a plan. And then once I have a plan, well, now I know how to invest the money. And in my experience, what we see is you have the money and they make an investment. And now we talk about a plan and what do you want this money to do, right? It's backwards, right?
Sure.
So most people are feeling overwhelmed, uncertain, scared, a fear. I would push on you a little bit, right? A little bit of pressure to say, get curious.
Yeah.
Get curious about what we're saying. Get curious about a quality of life. Because once you get curious, then you're going to have the ability to act, right?
Well, in these conversations, when somebody comes in, we're going to guide the conversation. We're going to be asking the questions that you might not think to ask or don't know what to ask. And I think that's a lot of times where it causes inaction from people is they don't even know what to ask.
Exactly.
Right? So we're going
Yeah.
to guide the conversations. And our first appointment is going to be very casual. It's going to be very laid back. You're going to come in, you're going to have a coffee or some sort of soft drink. Our team, we're doing drinks of the month right now, right?
Oh, cool.
So I know our team is
That's
spending.
awesome.
I know our client
It's not good
experience
for
team.
us.
I know our client experience team is doing a different drink every month. Or if you like a coffee or a soft drink or just a water and a cookie or something along those
Yeah.
lines. And these are going to be very casual, laid back conversations. Now, we might get into some uncomfortable areas and some things that you've never thought about that are going to make you think, but those are going to be fact finding. They're fun. We're getting to know you. You're interviewing us.
Absolutely.
Right? You're interviewing
Oh.
us and seeing, is this company a good fit for me? We're interviewing you to see if, there's areas that we think that we can help you. But those are very soft meetings. We're really not going to get too much into the nuts and the bolts until a second or third consultation, because we want to make sure that we're building trust and really building a comfortable environment for people.
Most definitely. Sean, what do you say to people who feel like they're too far behind to start financial planning? What advice do you have for those folks at home?
Stop it.
Just stop it. Just stop it. Stop
Just
thinking that
stop
way.
it, right? That's a negative fear. It's a negative thought. And, personally, it's like, those aren't going to produce fruit for you in your life.
Yeah.
So I had a mentor tell me this one time. I was sharing some things and he looked me dead in the eye and he said, Sean, stop it. That's it. Just stop it.
Just stop it.
So then once you stop it, right, and you overcome that unknown, that fear, now I would say, get curious about your financial plan. Get curious about what we're going to offer, right?
Yeah.
Do you have the 5 areas of financial plan? Do you have the comprehensiveness of income, taxes, investments, insurance, legacy? Are you looking at all of those? Because what I find most of the time is that you have a disintegrated financial system, right? I got an iPhone, I got an iWatch, I got an iPad. My technology is integrated.
Yeah.
Shouldn't my financial picture be integrated?
Well, don't you
Beautiful
get people all the time kind of say, you'll go through a plan, or we're going through someone's, and this is where having the written income plan, having the written financial plan, it's going to find the gaps.
Absolutely.
And we'll find massive
Amen.
gaps in someone's plan all the time. And they'll always say, people let the planner or the advisor off the hook, say, well, I didn't really ask them that question, or it's kind of my fault because I wasn't curious enough. Well, that's what Sean's saying. Get curious,
Get
And
curious.
again, a good planner advisor is going to guide you through these things.
Most definitely. Pete, thank you so much. Sean, thank you so much. To
Thank
our
you.
viewers at home, the number to call is 866-630-1675, 866-630-1675, or click the QR code at the bottom corner of your screen. Don't miss the opportunity to book your complimentary consultation. We'll see you next week on Retire Well TV. Take care now. See you soon.